Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today we're going to look at a Penn Defiance. It's the Defiance 25 level wind. It's got an issue. This level wind free spool release is not working properly. There seems to be a lot of play in it as well. We have a tilted or a bent level wind, and it just kind of is running very sluggish at the moment without much to do in terms of a free spool. So we're going to just see what we can do to make this thing work better, and I think we're going to have to order the part here, but this will be a why do fishing reels fail kind of a video. We'll take an assessment of what's going on inside the reel. If we need to order parts, well, then that's the next step, but at least we'll understand why this failed. So I have some conjecture on that. This level wind is bent. Now that's not a very sturdy level wind line guide system, but when you bend those posts, well, they're kind of a permanent part of this, and it's hard to bend back and keep back because you've already weakened the wire. That's why I say I trust we're going to have to go replace that. But I'm more concerned about this. This usually says that somebody has been inside the reel and, well, just didn't mount it properly on the way back out. This little lever should be coming over the shoulder here as opposed to facing out, and you can see it's loose and that. Well, that's the plan today. We'll take it apart, we'll see why it's failed, see what we can do about repairing it, and well, if I have to order the parts, which I know I'm going to have to do the one, it doesn't make any sense to go ahead and order the line guide and then find out you're inside the reel. Maybe this has a broken spring or something, then you're going to have to go back and order twice. Well, if you like these types of videos, if you like to see how reels are made, learn a little bit about their histories, see a little bit about how to service and repair them, then I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. And if you do subscribe to my channel, please use that notification button. That'll make sure that you see the videos as I post them, and that's always an advantage if you're looking to find out more about a particular reel and its narrative. Well, I'm going to remove the exterior parts first. The first thing I did here was to remove that little hold down clamp. There's a screw that holds this little plate down. This is a leveraged handle, so you can go two ways with this one. This is on the short side, but it'll also mount to the long side for higher leverage if that's something you would like to do. Looks like it's a 12mm wrench to take the next piece off. Just need to find it. That'll take a moment. And I keep all my wrenches and tools nearby. That way, when it's time to use them, if I need them, well, you can not disrupt the workflow as you're in order to put this down and go search for a tool. Now, there are tools from time to time that I will need that I don't have on my bench, but that's kind of rare. The open set of box wrenches is a near at hand. So are the screwdrivers, which are flat bladed and Phillips head. There's always a knife around. They use as a wedge. Always a pick around to help getting things aligned, and always my micro pliers. Those are kind of the things that are important to me. As important is a parts tray. When you remove your pieces and parts, have a plan for what it is you're going to do with the parts before you start taking them off. And the other suggestion, which I kind of say in almost every video, is take pictures as you're taking the reel apart. When you do that, it'll tell you the orientation of the pieces and parts, kind of what came off first, how they were situated in the reel, and then, well, if you have to put the reel down, if you have to leave the project for a while, when you come back, if you've forgotten that, it's going to help you to do that. All right, we have two bell washers here on next. They are not flat washers. They are beveled. They have a high and a low point. And then we have a smaller set of bell washers as well. So the small set goes in first, then the larger set goes in, and then we have a bearing on the shaft here, and you don't need to remove that bearing to remove the side plate. We're going to remove the side plate because that's where we will get a view in terms of what's going on with this free spool release arm, and it'll also tell us if any parts are needed before I go to order that line guide. So what we're going to do, it's a diagnosis today. And well, if you have a reel that has a problem that you can't seem to figure out, if you want to leave that question in the comments section, I will try to answer it for you. I may be able to help you with the diagnosis and get you back on your way. Sometimes it's things like I forgot my place and I can't really figure out where I left off or where this piece or part goes, but a lot of times it's things like I took my reel apart, or I wanted to take my reel apart. There's a grinding sound coming from the internal, external. You fill in the blanks, and sometimes my experience will be able to help you diagnose that. The 4 screws hold the side plate on. There's a trim ring. I'll take that off first. Then we will remove the side plate. And yeah, just as I thought. So before we went too far, like I said, we didn't want to go ahead and order the line guide without looking inside. And there's a couple of things going on here. There is a spring that belongs on this. That spring is missing, so we're going to have to go order a spring. As I go down, look further, I guess a trained eye can do this pretty quickly, but I'm going to remove these springs because they tend to get lost. I'm going to remove the gear stack because I noticed something as I was looking in here. This one's just being particularly difficult at the moment, but there's a piece here that was probably over tightened. Bring the gear stack off, and this is a anti-reverse system, but it's broken. This is an anti-reverse dog here. It should have a feeler on it on this side. I believe it should have a feeler on this side, a forked feeler. Should go this way, but it's missing this side's feeler. So we need to order the anti-reverse spring. Ah, there you go. This is the feeler for that missing piece. It all got ground up inside the reel. So we need to order the anti-reverse dog. We need to order the free spool release levers spring. And well, I think we should be okay once we do that. So just checking now. So I know that I need the line guide in addition to that. Let's show you how this line guide comes off so that I can make sure that I line up the pieces and parts. So I'm taking pictures here. I'm going to leave this and treat this as a reel in a bag project when the pieces and parts come in. So we'll do this now. We're going to remove the that came off. I know where these pieces go. That's fortunate for me. Take the yoke and the pinning gear and the like. Yeah, there's nothing going to fall out now. We're going to remove this side, and I'm going to show you how to remove the line guide and worm gear so that, well, we can replace it when the new part comes back in. So there's 4 more screws on this side. And when I take my screws off, I like to notice a couple of things. This side plate screw is shorter than the 4 side plate screws we removed to take the first piece off. Now, it's not by much, but you can see the difference here on my table. This is the gear side, this is the non-gear side. So when you go to put them back in, remember one side is shorter than the other, and the short side belongs on the non-gear side. If you were to remove the side plate here, you would need to remove that side plate in order to service the reel. So we're kind of talking about what you do here from a servicing perspective in addition to just getting to the worm gear that we have. Now, why is this important for me to do this right now? Well, I want to make sure that the worm gear is not damaged in addition to the line guide. My conjecture on this one is it probably got snagged up, and pulling on that would damage a couple of pieces and parts. Just from an anatomy standpoint, this is your idler gear. I wanted to check this because with a bent line guide, sometimes these plastic pieces, while they lose the teeth, they get stuck in there. So you want to check there, and you also want to check the back of this one, which drives that piece, and they seem to have all their teeth together there. And then you have a bearing inside here as well. All right, those seem to be okay. We want to remove the line guide now, and we want to remove the worm gear and check that. Why did I say that? Well, this obviously got pulled. I'm thinking we had a snag. The reel was being used as a lever point that pulled this over as far as it could pull over. We want to make sure that the track on the worm gear here is not damaged as well. If you have a line guide reel in particular, do not use the reel to power out of a jam situation. If you're got yourself snagged up on something, maybe Davy Jones' locker or something, whatever it is that you're kind of hitting at there, what you want to do is you want to let line out and then grab your knife butt or something like that, wrap it around the line and pull on your knife handle or your net handle or your rod butt or whatever it is that you've lined the rod on, round the line around. Do not try to power out of it by using the reel. This is the consequence of that type of an action. In order to remove the worm gear, we've taken off the clip on this side. Now we got to remove the pawl, get that free of the track. And you do that by removing the cap. Now this whole assembly can come out. We can pull out the worm gear, and we should be able to slide the shield and the line guide off. This is what I was saying. You could probably bend this back, but because it's been loosened in here, it just is more susceptible to being lost again. All right, what I'm going to do is check the teeth on the worm gear here, make sure that there aren't any damaged pieces in that. This one looks pretty good. When you're checking these teeth, you want to check the beaks of each one of these points here. And because this is kind of a silver over like a bronze metal, generally if there's some damage there, it's going to show pretty quickly by a different type of metal. All right, I'm going to put the assembly back as I found it now in my parts tray, just so I know how to do it later. This piece goes on the gear side. This comes up. This goes in, comes out on this side. That's where that little E-clip came off of. And what I'll need to do here is go order replacement line guide arm. Okay, so that's how it would look outside of the reel. And then the last piece we want to put in, I want to check the pawl because of course that was involved in this leverage. You want to make sure that your 2 points are good there, and that appears to be okay. And another way to test this is to set that pawl in place. And I'm doing this by hand. I want to make sure that we have this threaded properly here. And what you'll do is you'll tighten down on this in increments. You have to make sure that the wings of that pawl go into the slots in the worm gear. And it doesn't always match up initially, so take your time, just do it in like quarter turns. Eventually you're going to get it to where it's proper. I think we got it now. And then just make sure it moves back and forth. So it is. So my conclusion with this is the worm gear is okay, the line shield is not bent, the pawl and cap are okay. This is bent, we need to replace that. So we'll go to our parts list. We know that we need the line guide, we know that we need the anti-reverse, and we know that we need the spring for the free spool release. And then once we do that, the free spool release is up here. Once we get those pieces and parts, we will rebuild the reel. But so much is learned from why a fishing reel failed, and well, you can make up your own different stories on why that occurred, because in this case I truly believe there was a snag up and the reel was used to try and lever out of that, as opposed to, as we mentioned, wrapping it around a rod butt, a knife handle or whatever, and using that as your lever point. At any rate, if you find yourself where you can't free the snag, cut the line. That rig is a whole lot cheaper than going through the reel repair, going through ordering the pieces and parts, the expense of it, and then the time it takes to rebuild the reel. So, lessons learned. I hope you've enjoyed that, and well, stay tuned. We'll show you how to reassemble it when those parts become available. I want to thank our police, fire, safety, and rescue folks for everything it is that they do to keep us safe. And I want to encourage all of you to keep your reels serviced, make sure that they're done on a timely basis, which is about once a year. Make sure that you're taking the time and the energy to ensure that they're sound. Change the line on it. And of course, among all other things, please take the time to take them fishing. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing everybody a great day.